Hello,
Hi, hi.
back to Charlie today. All these different accounts. Yes, yes. So, how are things with you?
Mhm. Do you know that the Chinese is only the several countries that still have the the how to call it in the communist countries they
Mm,
usually do not allow the immigration the immigrant of the different of the people. You want to you work hard on where you live.
mm.
They try to find the lots of methods to stop you from mm, move
Leaving the
around.
country,
Yeah, yeah,
which,
yeah.
which is a little bit of a, um, is not quite the situation anymore in China, if you think about it. I mean, when you,
Yeah. The situation has changed dramatically after the
yes,
first dictator died.
yeah, okay. Which dictator was that one?
The
Mao.
Mao, yeah, Mao,
Okay,
definitely Mao.
okay,
It's the
yes.
one of the three most famous dictators: Hitler, Stalin, and Mao.
Mm.
Three. And
Mao was never looked upon as a dictator, not in the West.
wow,
I wouldn't say Mao was a dictator. A dictator is somebody who makes all the decisions. He still had a committee, didn't
yeah,
he?
um,
Exactly. The structure of the Chinese government with the president and what's he got? Seven in the so-called committee, and then there isn't there another 30 beneath that, and then you've got the rest of them. So you've got sort of three levels of
mhm,
control.
mhm.
A dictator doesn't have that.
Uh,
I mean, your big dictators, coming back to ones who you are mentioning.
in the earlier days, back to
Mm,
1950 to 1960,
yes.
sort of, that are some
Mm,
other peoples who's capable, who can split some powers from Mao. Yeah, that's correct. But after
yes.
1960s, he
Mm,
actually, I don't know whether you heard that, it's a great cultural revolution
yes, it was.
that
Yeah, it was the Cultural Revolution.
the
Yeah, no,
whole
he then.
the whole
Yes,
China go to mad in the
yes,
many directions.
yeah, but he didn't. He did that through a committee, though. He still had people doing it for him. You see, a dictator is kept in position through military power. I'm generalizing, but
Yeah, yeah,
generally,
yeah,
if
definitely.
you look through, yeah, if you look through the dictators in this last 100 years, if you look
Hmm.
at, as you say, Hitler,
Hmm.
he had a very strong um,
Control.
army that, yeah, over the army that protected him. Mussolini, I mean, there's
Hmm.
another one from Italy, right?
Hmm.
Same
Hmm.
again. Here in Spain, Franco. I mean, Franco was a dictator.
Hmm.
Spain had a dictator until 1975,
He's
right?
also the Farist committee. Uh, he's aligned with German and
Yes,
Italy in the World War II, right? Okay. Hmm.
yes. But Franco stayed in power. He basically died in power. He stayed until 1975. I
That a
mean,
good that a good
yeah,
way.
yeah, yes. I mean, Spain only had any form of elections, any form of democracy,
Hmm.
only in 1975.
1975. Hmm.
Portugal was only 1983. Right?
83. Portugal.
Portugal was
1975.
83. They also had a dictator.
Hmm.
Italy, no. Italy was 19 whatever 45. Right?
Hmm.
Um, so Italy was very much more advanced in timing. But I
Hmm.
mean, you know, your dictators, and okay, Stalin, Putin. I mean, the
The current
the
Xi,
one who
Xi,
who
Xi.
oh yes, but he's, you know, he's the leader of the Communist Party.
Hmm.
You know, you could just as easy change that leader. The party could change the leader.
Not anymore.
Why is he there forever?
He will
Is
become the second Mao. Mm.
okay.
That's another story. The reason I want to tell about
Yeah.
the socialism, the difficulty in the immigration, he limited the
Mm-hmm.
people's traveling,
Mm-hmm.
banned traveling, is that
Mm-hmm.
in the major cities in China,
Mm-hmm.
like Beijing or Shanghai or Guangdong, uh,
Mm-hmm.
there is a kind of the permanent citizen,
Mm-hmm.
let of the passport inside the country. That
Mm-hmm.
if you do not have that one,
Mm-hmm.
you can work here, you can work in this specific the major countries, but your kids
Mm-hmm.
cannot go to school in the specific areas.
So okay, so if you work in Shanghai,
Hmm.
right, say, which is a tier one city,
Hmm.
and you're not originally from Shanghai, you've come from elsewhere in China.
Yeah, yeah.
Your children can't be educated in Shanghai.
Uh, in most of the cases, yes. There are some criteria you have to follow that
Mm-hmm.
specific criteria. If you meet that
Mm-hmm.
criteria, then you can. But you can have you can go to public schools. But the private schools,
Mm-hmm.
I think, is not banned, as the private schools
Mm-hmm.
are pretty expensive, maybe 10
Mm-hmm.
times more expensive than the public
Right.
schools.
Okay.
But
But so what happens to
you
the
go first.
children? What
You
happens
go
to the
first.
children?
So there are specific schools, especially
Mm-hmm.
for those for the some kind of immigrants from other province except from
Mm-hmm.
Shanghai. They go to
Mm-hmm.
specific schools, but
Mm-hmm.
their children cannot take part they cannot take to the entrance examinations, the college entrance
Mm-hmm.
examination. They have to go back to their hometown to take the
Mm-hmm.
examinations from there, because Shanghai and Beijing they have pretty higher uh, rate for the
Mm-hmm.
entrance exams.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So the different cases today, I got
Mm-hmm.
uh, I got sort of the permanent the PR of Shanghai.
Okay. Okay.
It
So you
sounds
got
ridiculous.
permanent. So you got permanent residence in Shanghai.
Yeah, today.
Yes. Okay. So what does that now mean for your children? Can they now be educated in Shanghai because you've got a PR?
Hmm. Hmm. Actually, he is in the neighborhood in the public kindergarten already,
Mm-hmm.
because there
Okay.
are other alternatives that maybe there are 3 or 4 alternatives. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
you miss one of them, then
Mm-hmm.
your kids can here go to the
Okay.
public schools.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you sound ridiculous to you that a PR inside a country in different provinces, different cities? Do you find it crazy?
Um, not so much.
Not so much.
Because look at America.
Hmm.
Okay. Um, I don't know the actual rulings, for example, but if you are from, say, California,
Hmm.
the state of California, can you go and work in Texas?
I think working is free of choice.
I I'm not sure. I'm not so sure.
What would prevent somebody working from 2 different states? What kind of facts?
Well, the problem you've got in the States is that they're not all the same. They don't. they don't have the same tax rates. They don't have the same
Yeah, yeah.
laws,
That's
right?
right. That's right.
To give you an example, if you have you ever heard of Roe versus Wade? This was it's called Roe versus Wade, right?
Roe versus Wade.
I'll write it for you. Versus Wade. This is a very this was a law that was basically put into place by the Supreme Court, the highest court in America, and it's all about abortion, right? So basically, it effectively banned abortion in all states because it came from the Supreme Court. All the states were then banned from abortions. It was overturned about, I'm not sure, might have even been longer than that. But anyhow, it was overturned. I'm not sure the exact date. Now, each state can decide
whether it's legal or illegal.
Yes. So what happens is now is that if you are in a state that it's not legal to have an abortion, the only hope you've got is you've got to try and find a state where it is legal, right? And that's complicated, right? Because everything works on their driving license, and their driving license, the number of their driving license, tells the authorities everything about the person, what state they come from, where they've got residence, everything. It's basically a form of PR, as you've just got, right?
But
because your driving license says it all, right?
Yeah.
This is America. I'm not saying it's the same in other countries. So in a lot of ways, it's the same.
Okay. All right. That's a relief.
Yeah. The trouble is that America has marketed itself as this country of absolute freedom. And on the face of it, it's probably true. But there are lots and lots of rules and regulations that change from state to state. So, it's the same as if you qualify as a lawyer in Texas. You can't just suddenly say, okay, I will try a case in Florida.
Oh, the lawyer could not practice law different states. So the certificate passing the bar is not recognized of the whole country in the U.S.
It is and it isn't.
Complicated.
Well, the exam itself is taken as the bar exam, so that's university accepted. But that doesn't give you a license to go and be a lawyer in every state. You have to apply to be a lawyer in
got it.
the state that you live in and reside in, or where you're right. If you want to go and practice in another state, you've got to
again.
Yes, you've got to apply for a temporary acceptance to allow you to operate in another state. All right, and it's only temporary. And
like a visa.
Yes, it's not automatically given, and it could be, say, only for 3 months or 6 months or whatever. Right? So you say, I have a client from Texas. He's involved in a big court case in Florida. I represent the client in Texas, so therefore I have to apply to the Florida court for a concession so that I can then represent my client in the court case in Florida. Right? It isn't, and it isn't necessarily acceptable because the other problem you have is that, again, using the lawyer as an example, the laws are different in every state. And I'll give you an example of one that's happened recently to Donald Trump. He can't find lawyers. All
The
right.
lawyer broke, I think. I saw it on TV.
Well, his problem is that the big prestigious law firms have branches around the country. So if you're a big law firm of, I don't know, 200 lawyers, you might have 20 in one state, 20 in another state, and so on and so on and so on. All right? No problem, because those lawyers can all operate in each one of those states. But if you're a one-man person, right, and you're in Florida, which is where you operate from, and now you want to operate in New York, right, you won't understand half the laws and the procedures, what they call the court procedures of what happens in New York, for example. Because again, New York is a completely separate entity from anywhere else. And on top of it, it's even got a slightly different legal system because of the financial aspect of New York, of the financial, because it's the financial center. So there's a lot more different types of courts.
Yeah,
Well,
definitely.
Donald Trump's stupid female, Elena Hubbard, has messed it up so many times. That's why he's just been tried in a case without a jury, because she forgot to tick the box. Literally, that's all she had to do. In some of the paperwork to the court, she had to tick the box and say, tick the box that we want a jury trial. She didn't even know it existed. And she didn't tick the box.
Because he didn't know the laws in another state, right? New York State.
Yes. So Trump then goes up and down and says, no, this is unfair. I'm a victim. There's no jury. Well, yeah, because you got a second-rate lawyer. Right?
You drop your right. You have the right, but you do not use it.
Yes. So that case is now going to be judged. The case is over. The court case is over. The judge is now, we're just waiting for the judgment, which is going to be in the next couple of weeks. And he's the only person that makes the judgment. There's no jury, right? And because he says he's, but that's a case of how complicated it is. Spain is the same. Oh, Spain's identical. Again, if you're an accountant, lawyer, architect, engineer, right? Each province, right, has its own what we call college, right? So take architecture. So the College of Architecture is in Malaga. So you qualify in this region,
Only.
in Spain. It's not even in the province. It's just this region, right? You then apply to the College of Architects in Malaga, and you get what we call a college number. Right? Now that college number can only sign documents in Malaga.
In specific area, yeah.
Nowhere else. It's the same with doctors. It's the same with accountants. And it's just not Spain. It's France. It's Italy. Right? I'm not sure about Germany. It's Portugal. Right? And it was all put in place to protect the professionals in that country.
Oh, in the local areas, yeah.
Yes. Right. So if you're an architect, say for example, in Madrid, and you have a client who wants to build a home here in Malaga, you've got to collaborate
with the local one.
Yes. And he obviously wants money. And that's exactly how we did it. We did it that way. We had the clients, and because we were not registered in the College of Architects in Malaga, we collaborated with local architect.
Mm,
And I mean, the first one took 50% of our fee. We were
15%.
green.
Oh,
Yeah, we were green. He ripped us off terribly. All right. But we were stupid. That was our own fault. Next time was only about 20%. But yeah, but look,
the question
we had,
is could you apply to different locations for that kind of college certificate or sort of thing?
yes, yes, I could
Did,
go
did
to Madrid. If I had a client who wanted to build in Madrid,
could you
so
apply a
yes,
certificate in the Madrid as well?
yes, I can go and find a collaborator in Madrid.
But you cannot apply it in that specific area.
Well, I'm not registered under any of the Spanish colleges, but my
Oh,
qualification is recognized because it's from the UK. So there's not a problem. Again, there's not a problem with the qualification. That's secondary. The problem is about having the college number to be able to sign
the
government
document.
documents. That's it. And it's all because if you're a professional in the countries I've just mentioned, you're personally liable if anything goes wrong. So say I'm a doctor, for
Mhm,
example, and I do an operation on you and I made a mistake and it goes wrong and you are impaired in some way or other, you could sue me as your doctor for malpractice
mhm.
and I'm personally liable, personally, right?
Liable? I didn't get it. Personally
What it
liable
means,
meaning?
liable, if I haven't taken out what we call professional indemnity insurance,
Mhm,
you could sue me for millions,
mhm.
huh?
So this kind of stuff, I think, make the whole process less efficient and add lots of extra cost to the
Yes,
project.
yes, exactly. I agree. Agreed. Yes,
But
yes.
what's the benefit? What's the
The
pros
benefit, the
of this
why it's
kind of
done
thing?
is to protect those workers, those professions, those locals. So you're doing a form of immigration control.
Mhm.
You see, when you go to
Immigration.
when you go to the developing countries,
Mhm,
South America, Africa, Australia, what have you, totally different,
mhm. Yeah,
right? All these rules and regulations trying to protect your jobs for your professionals doesn't exist.
yeah,
So, for example, if you are a qualified lawyer in South Africa, you can practice anywhere in South Africa,
yeah,
the whole country.
yeah. Actually, my wife is a previously a lawyer. He
Mm-hmm.
can practice law all around China. Yeah,
Yeah,
so that
which is how it should be.
yeah, it should be. So I think this is a default setting. I didn't know there are other
It's
alternatives.
called
So
it's called protectionism.
protection.
Yeah, protectionism. So
Oh,
what you're
okay.
doing
Mhm.
is that you're putting in rules and regulations to protect the local professions.
But the thing is that the government, the central government, could
Mm-hmm.
they do something about that to eliminate this kind of protections and to make the whole industry more efficient and make the cost down or some sort of thing?
Yeah, they could. Yes, they could. If
Mhm,
if they could agree to do it, yes. The trouble is you've got to understand in Europe, there's no single leader.
mhm.
The leader of each country is only there because he's in a coalition of other parties, other political parties. So if one of the other political parties doesn't agree, then the prime minister can do what he likes. He's not going to get nothing will happen.
Yeah, he should be. His main concern about is the peoples who the majority of voters, their thoughts, their needs. So if their needs is short sight, they didn't care about the future, they they they, they can add burdens to the whole country.
Yeah, but I don't think there's a single prime minister in Europe that represents the majority of the people. There's not one. The UK is different. Keep the UK out of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's different. But in Europe, there's not one single country where the leader represents the majority of the people.
But how could they get to the leader, to the prime
I've
minister?
got 30%, say, of the people. He's got 20%. He's
Mm-hmm.
got 5%. Right? He's got 6%. So I'll bring them all together and say, okay, we're now a coalition. I mean, to give an example, the current prime minister today of Spain
Mm-hmm.
did not win the election in July. The other party won more seats than him.
Mm-hmm.
He got, say, 35% of the votes, the other party. The current prime minister got 31%,
But how could
right?
he manage to be the prime minister?
Because he brought in other parties. He's got him plus 4 other parties.
His party can absorb other parties' votes.
No, they don't absorb, they add them. So what happens is it says, I've got 32 seats, but I need 170. So I go to another one who's got 25. 25 plus 32 gives me that. I go to another one who's got 10 or 15. I go to him and I added a few more seats in. And I go to another one until I get to my 176. And then you form an agreement, loose agreement between you. All right.
Okay.
Every
And
country's like that in Europe. Portugal, Spain, Italy, Germany, France, Belgium, Netherlands, Poland, they're all except
UK,
England.
England.
Yes.
So is that the reason UK want to leave the EU?
That's a lot more complicated. But the English system is probably the closest. Yeah, I would say it's probably the closest of one. For every vote is counted, and if the majority of the votes vote for one party, that's the government. All right?
Got it, got it.
Whereas
So
America's not. America's
yes,
not
totally
that.
different, totally different.
Well, it's not
The
totally different. It's been adapted.
the
Mm.
senator, the states with the more people, the senator represents the whole.
No,
Hmm?
you have
No,
two senators per state.
yeah, two senators.
Per state.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 100
So
senators.
yes, and there's 50 states.
Mm-hmm.
So
So
two. Go on.
it seems time is not is.
Yeah, go on.
We can talk about it
Yeah, next time. But carry on.
next
Yeah,
time. Yeah.
yes.
Uh, they use the senator who supports that kind of the candidates. The candidates wins all the elections in that states. That's what I'm aware of.
On the Senate, yes, two of
Hmm.
them stand, and they will then
We can,
represent that state. Yes,
yeah, the whole states. Yeah,
yes, that's probably closest to the one man, one vote. Yes.
yeah. But the state with the most people usually is the biggest hitting, biggest
Well,
black.
that's